Okay, quicker video today. The main thing I changed for today was I widened my stance a little bit. So I had this old hip injury from sumo deadlifting from a couple years ago, where I had a grade 2 strain of my hip external rotator. So it's kind of like the bottom of the glute. What that stopped me from doing was, well, first of all, I got injured on both sides in two separate occasions. But basically, what that stopped me from doing was I ended up having to narrow my stance on the squat so that my hips wouldn't have to externally rotate as much, and that would just feel better in general. It healed in such a way that like the scar tissue prevented me from externally rotating my hip to a certain extent, and then finally, after enough time had passed, I finally decided to see a doctor who told me to break up the scar tissue, and surprisingly, I was able to do that and restore like numerous degrees of range of motion to that area. So now that that's all healed up, or for the most part healed up, I can wide stance squat again. And it's not something I tried to do or even thought about in such a long amount of time. So I figured today I would try it out because there was something that felt weird about the narrow stance squatting. So today I did my tempos. I just stepped out a little more and pointed my toes out just a little bit, and it felt great. It felt so much better. Or not like that much better, but like it just felt really good. Like it felt like the right position for my body. Of course, I'm not used to it yet, but it just feels more natural. So I think it's definitely something that I'm gonna keep trying to experiment with. And I think probably once I get good at it, it will be probably the way for me to squat because it just felt more natural. Things felt good. Uh, and yeah, the tempos I went all the way up to 275 today. It was 125 kilos, and that was the first rep I did with 275. And then this one is the second rep, and those were both tempos with a pause at the bottom. And then on this second set, I decided I would try one without as much of a tempo and with no pause, just to see if it would be what I wanted it to be. And it was okay. Uh, not exactly what I wanted it to be, but I'm gonna stick to the tempo and keep working on that. Same deal with the pull up. Just added the 45, see how I was feeling, and then I went all the way up to an additional 60 pounds today because the pull up was just moving super well. Even though I had some tightness and soreness from the RDL from yesterday in my upper back, it just still moved well. So it was not like such a big deal. Just because you're sore doesn't mean you're weak. Once you get the blood flowing and once things start feeling good, you're probably just as strong and sometimes even stronger. Soreness is not always an indication of like how well your muscle's going to perform. Sometimes it is, but it's not like an end all be all thing. Wrapped up the session with my third lift with the strict press, just 100 pounds, just getting a bunch of reps in. I did 5 sets of 6 with this. And then I threw in some tricep accessories after that point, and that was basically it. It was good. So yeah, moral today: more wide stance squatting. Keep giving that a try. Gonna keep doing the tempo, and I feel pretty good about what the future has in store for me right now. All right, sweet.